Please be advised that the following video is not safe for work.
So what are you working on for cosplay this week?
Nothing, because I need your help.
But I wanted to talk
Okay.
about what I'm working on, because I got some cool stuff.
I know, but I need your help because I'm doing a bunny suit.
Okay, well, I'll help you with your bunny suit.
And you know more about it than I do, and I just know that hot girls wore them. That's as far as I go.
Yes, actually. Well, I mean, the bunny suit is kind of I don't know, for me it's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, I like the way that they look and everything like that, but like the history of like the bunny suit. So like people know that the bunny suit belongs to Playboy, of course, which is kind of where it started off. And the bunny suits, there's a whole bunch of documentaries about like the bunny suit itself and like the waitresses that worked at the bunny clubs and how these were so exclusive and that sort of thing. And the bunny suits, the secret of the bunny suit and making the bunny suits were really, it was kept like top secret. There was only like one maker in the States who like ever made bunny suits for the Playboy clubs back in like the 50s and 60s and that sort of thing. And they're actually, like, if you were to get an authentic bunny suit now, to be made by like the makers of the bunny suit, it's like 4 layers of fabric. You have to go for custom fittings. It's essentially a corset that looks like it's in a bodysuit.
Yeah.
So it's really quite a picky outfit. So
Great. Let me make it.
You can make it.
Oh my god.
I'm not crazy. I'm crazy in different ways, but not in that sort of way. I'm like, 14,000 rhinestone crazy, not making a bunny suit on somebody else or making a bunny suit on myself. Crazy, because that's
nuts, so I've jumped into that
foray. So that's what we're going to be doing. Trying to do is we will do a little bit of a demo on how to pattern for a bunny suit if you want to, but that's what we're doing. But the bunny suit really kind of had its comeback, I guess.
Yeah.
From if you go on her page, she does awesome work. Laura Bregman from Castle Corsetry is the one who kind of brought it all back a couple years ago with doing Star Wars mashups and Star Trek mashups of the bunny suit with like all these other sort of genres of
nerdy
fandoms and whatnot. So the mashups have been great. I've become more of a fan of the mashups than I was of the original bunny suit.
Yeah,
so.
And isn't at Dragon Con, don't they have like a big bunny
They do
thing?
have a big, huge bunny photo shoot of like anybody who's wearing a bunny suit. They kind of like to group the bunnies together of like, here's the Star Wars bunnies, here's the Star Trek bunnies, here's the Harry Potter bunnies, here's the, the sort of bunny. So what bunny are you wanting to do?
I'm doing a bunny that I've yet to see.
Okay.
So I'm a huge Power Rangers nerd. I can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah, I know.
Like, who can say I'm a Power Rangers nerd? But I get to meet Green Ranger. He does not have a name. His name is not Jason. It is Tommy. That's it. That's all. Do not call him Jason. I swear to God. But I get to meet him at Vancouver Fan Expo. And I decided instead of doing, because I was going to do like the Green Ranger and whatever. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a bunny suit because I've never seen this done. And I've decided to do Rita Repulsa bunny suit.
Oh, that's going to be really cool.
So it's not like the typical Ranger or anything like that. So I did draw it up. It's going to look really weird because I am not an artist, but I don't know if you can see that.
Our production person.
Can you? Yeah, I'll have a better picture later. But I've basically taken her dress and tried to make it into a bunny suit.
It's going to be a brown bunny suit with cone cone boobies.
Yes.
Is what you're trying to do.
Yes. So I'm pretty much taking, because she does have like the
cone boobs.
The cone boobs, and I thought I have to have that. Out of all of the things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need cone boobs. So it's going to be black top portion, brown lower portion with all of her gold, because, you know, why not make it more complicated?
Well, of course not.
So I'm going to do like, yeah, the gold, and then I'm going to have the cone-shaped boobs. And then I'm doing like the cuffs, and I'm going to do the collar, and I'm going to do the ears and the little tail. So that's pretty much where, and that's all I have done. And I leave in like 4 days.
Do you really?
Legit.
So now we have to like bust out a bunny suit today? Yeah. Okay, we're going to bust out a bunny suit. You're going to see, actually, this will be really good because this will be done super, super fast.
Right?
And it'll involve me wrapping you in saran wrap, which is why we got out the saran wrap.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
That duct tape. Okay, so saran wrap patterning with duct tape. You can, oh. You know this is a fetish somewhere. Somebody's done it. Ew, yeah, wrapping animals and I don't want to.
Anyways.
Anywho.
No animals were harmed.
No animals were harmed in the making of this video.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
How you doing over there, honey? My head.
There is a couple patterns for bunny suits out there, but I feel personally that this is the way to go.
Anybody who's felt personally violated by Yaya Han, raise your hand.
Anyways, so
I'm kidding. I love you, Yaya.
She's amazing, but her patterns don't necessarily work for all shapes and sizes.
No,
they're very good patterns. However, not all of us are shaped the same. Smaller torsos, longer torsos, and that just gets complicated when you're taking a pattern that's supposed to fit, you know, this person, and I have to shorten it by 4 inches here and add it. It hurts my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't math well. So, I mean, for me, I look at Jan and go, fix it. So this is an easier way of doing it, which it's going to be made just to fit me. It won't fit anybody else.
Yeah, and actually the duct tape and the saran wrap patterning is a really good way to get really good fit on things that
Very
have
accurate.
to for accuracy for your body, and for anything like that has to fit you extremely well, extremely snug. Because in actual fact, the bunny suit has no stretch to it. None.
Which is weird for me because I only so stretch.
She only so stretch. I can like hand her some Velveteen and she'll be, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I got none.
What did you just give me? You just gave me a bag full of hate.
Right?
That's really what you just did.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to that. So using duct tape and saran wrap is actually when we're doing the video, we'll like slow it down at certain points because I do use it for when I do custom corsets and stuff like that for other people because it is a really accurate way to do it. To duct tape
all of your curves,
fit all your curves all at once, that sort of thing. So all of it just in and concealed is really what it comes down to. And I have done it. It does fit very, very well. It does work very, very well. It is a 2-person job. And it usually doesn't involve booze.
So the easiest way to do it is how? So you do the base wrap, right?
You do the base wrap. So I will explain it kind of like this on the dog.
So I've done a couple for like bracers and things like that. And because I want my bracers to fit snug, but I still want to have a little bit of flexibility and movement, I do like 4 rounds of plastic and then...
Yeah, with this you don't want to do that because you maybe want to do 2, maybe 3. So what you're really trying to go for is kind of accuracy with the wrapping because anytime you add extra wrap,
it's bulk.
It's adding bulk, and that means that it won't fit as close. Same thing is true with the duct tape. I think everybody's tendency with the duct tape is they think it's like for binding, and they tend to like go tighter when in actual fact what you want is just coverage.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's usually the problem with it. So if you've never done it before, try to find somebody who has done it before who can kind of walk you through it and kind of talk about it while they're putting on the duct tape because that's really the essential bit of it. Everybody I know starts laughing. They're like, I'm getting wrapped up in duct tape. But when it comes down to it, duct tape and the saran wrap are really tools of accuracy. So
Okay.
as much as you want to have fun with it, and you do want to be serious kind of about it, and be smart about it, because the thicker you put on the duct tape and the thicker that you put on the saran wrap,
You're adding inches.
You're adding inches, and you're losing accuracy of your pattern.
See, and that's why I got her to help me. Also, my next question is for like my bracers and patterning and stuff, I don't use solid pieces. I use like a section, so it's constantly like pieced together. It's never like I'm making a bracer. Yeah. So do you do that with this kind of wrap, or do you do full rounds?
I like doing kind of full rounds just to get this essential coverage, because what's going to be doing the work is the duct tape, not the saran wrap. The only reason the saran wrap is there is so that you get a solid piece when you go to cut your pieces away.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of it. The other important part is when you're doing any sort of corset pattern or any sort of tight-fitting body pattern, is that you wear undergarments that are the shape that you want to be when you're done. So if you're wearing your sports bra and your boobs like droop,
that's what
off
it's
to
gonna
one
be.
side or something like that, that's the way your pattern is gonna look. So yeah, as she hoists them up. So you want to wear that bra, that free drink at the bar bra, that bra.
Drunk
Jet. That's a different story, and that'll be a different video.
That'll be a soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. The soundtrack to Cosplay After Hours, as a matter of fact, is Drunk Jen. So
good.
You do want to wear that bra that lifts you up and supports you and that sort of thing, because it will mimic that shape that you like.
Yeah.
And that's why I said. And the other thing is that you want to have a drink, but you don't want to be completely drunk when you do this either. Because this is a true story of a corset class I gave for wrapping, just making your own patterns for corsets, is somebody wore their bar bra, which was like a $250 bar bra, which it paid for itself. Let me just say that. But at the same time, because there was drinking involved, and the other person who was cutting the pattern off of them cut through the back of the bra, and I had to repair a bra that night, slightly inebriated in my house.
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, so this
intentionally.
Yeah. If you really hate that person, by all means go for it. So yeah, wrapping. So important parts: don't overwrap. Don't be too drunk when you do it. Wear your favorite bra. Wear your favorite garments, and be comfortable with the person who's doing it. So because there's going to be a bit
all
of
the bits and pieces.
I have to get into some pieces where I think thanks. Only gynecologists or waxers should get into is really what it comes down to. So so there's that too. So I'm looking at our other things. So another thing that we talked about is avoiding costume malfunctions. Yeah. So part of your bunny costume in this case is going to have the right support. So you're going to be using the stitch-in boning to like keep everything up. So have you ever had a costume malfunction?
All the time.
Do you?
When don't I have a costume malfunction?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wear a lot of corsets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's like either they're really nice and high, or I'm pulling up all the time because it's not laced properly.
Gotcha.
So, or like I find that I bounce and I bounce. So I've had quite a few, but I mean, not anything crazy. My big thing is sweating.
Oh, yeah.
So in corsets and sweating is my issue.
Yeah. So like, I don't know about you, but I feel close to all of you and to you. So I'm about to share like one of my corset secrets.
What's your corset secret? Because I have one too.
Maybe it's the same one.
Maybe.
Is that boobs like to sweat particularly a lot.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I like to put like panty liners underneath.
I use nursing pads.
Do you nursing pads? Okay, so
pads.
I will put panty liners underneath, particularly anything that's like PVC or fake leather.
Yeah.
Or
satin too.
Sometimes the satins. It depends. Because I make mine. I'm
not that fan.
Yeah. I line mine with cotton, and the cotton absorbs it all. So I usually don't get like boob sweat underneath.
My first ever Wonder Woman corset, I did not account for this, and I didn't think about it, and it was a really crappy Party City corset for like $29, and I sweat through it, so I ended up having like little wet spots. And once you get wet spots on satin,
it's done.
Yeah, you're done.
You might as
So
well wet
yeah,
the
I've
whole
started
damn thing.
using nursing pads because, whereas with panty liners, depending on how much you sweat, I don't know, like, but nursing pads will fit like tons of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I always use. I always say is nursing pads, and it's always under. It's never nursing pads.
No, it's nursing pads underneath the cleavage.
Yeah, so I use those a lot.
Yeah, those are really good for doing that, for getting rid of boob sweat and corsets. So that's really good. I'm trying to think of any other. The only other costume malfunction that I can think of is the time that I lost my panties.
You didn't lose them, honey.
I didn't lose them. I gained an experience. This is really what it comes down to. So that was I chose the wrong microfiber panties to wear underneath the costume once, and I was walking in the parking lot to get to the con, and like 5 steps away from the car, I was like, okay, crap, I'm losing these panties. Coming down really quickly. So I like
funny.
rolled them down, stepped out of them, shoved them in my purse, and kept going. And my husband's like, well, the car's right over there. I'm like, it's too far gone.
That's true cosplay right
That's
there.
true cosplay. And then for the rest of the day, he was like, yeah, don't twirl.
Yeah,
So-
I think cosplay malfunctions is like, you're going to have some all the time, but make sure that you have things like safety pins or extra bobby pins too, because a lot of times it's the wigs or, even paper towels can help. So if you don't have nursing pads or you find that you're overly sweaty anywhere, even in the back, like of the back of a corset too, can get super sweaty depending on
That little
how...
drip that goes right down the middle of the back fat
Yeah.
in your corset is not comfortable to
That's
have.
attractive.
Yeah, that's really sexy.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ways that you can get rid of that too, like especially if you're wearing like spandex bodysuits or like PVC or anything like that, is first off, stay away from baby powder. Everybody thinks that if you baby powder
don't
yourself
do that.
on before you go, you will
You'll hate your life.
Yeah, you'll hate your life. First, they think if you use it, you're going to be drier, and you're not actually going to be doing that. Baby powder is actually really bad. First off, for the costume, because it doesn't always wash out of the costume. And then number 2, it's actually really bad for your skin, because if your skin can't breathe, it sucks into your pores and it clogs them. So it's really bad for that.
And it crumbles.
And it crumbles. So there's a couple of things that you can do other than baby powder. You can use cornstarch, which is you get like a sports sock and fill it with cornstarch and like powder yourself.
It's like those old people.
Exactly, like in the South. I can't believe the heat. I need to powder myself. And then you like powder. I just did the worst accent ever. It's because I'm
great.
So there's cornstarch. You can use that. That's a really good option, and it washes out of your costumes and washes out your stuff. Don't over cornstarch yourself, because if you do that and you go to take off your costume, you'll get like a loaf of bread that falls at your feet because they all have clumped together somewhere in your costume. The other thing that's out there, and most adult shops sell it, or you can get it online. It's made by a company called Kama Sutra, is a thing called honey dust.
Got it.
Oh, you got it? Oh, we had a little bug flying around. Kama Sutra is honey dust. And what it actually is, it's honey that has been dried and pulverized into a really, really super fine powder. And first off, it has a wicking property, which means it pulls moisture away from your skin. But it also has a moisturizing property to it, so it never gets sticky or anything like that. It's just
And it smells good.
And it smells really super good. Guys, and if you ever get what's called hockey balls. Sweaty sack. Honey dust is awesome, and it does come in different scents.
So Lush makes something as well.
Yeah.
Do they?
Called Silky Underpants.
Yeah.
And it's designed for like chafing of like private areas, and I use that religiously.
Like chub
and
rub?
It's very simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps with thigh rub. That's exactly what it was invented for. But
Yeah.
it smells amazing. It comes in powder form again. Same.
Yeah.
It's probably exactly the same thing as honey dust.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But available in a non-adult.
And
In a
environment.
non-adult environment?
Lame.
Lame.
Because the honey dust comes in a nice little tin.
Yeah, it's
has a
super
little
cute.
feather duster, and it doesn't look like
It's for tickling.
It's for tickling or for dusting thyself. Thy decollage. So that's one way to avoid sweating. Another way to avoid sweating with stuff. I'm looking at our other things that we have to do. So another way is, and we'll do a demo on it, is doing what's called sticky elastic, which is like silicone elastic. So like if you're making like a t-shirt or a bodysuit or something like that, and you don't want it to ride up, you can get elastic that has silicone in the edge, and it won't shift once you put it in place.
It's like what they have in the like strapless bras and
exactly, and strapless bras and stay up stockings and that sort of thing, and it sticks to the skin so that you don't have any wardrobe malfunctions. And
I swear I love having them. I don't know, they seem to follow me everywhere I go.
You like having the wardrobe malfunctions? I have wardrobe injuries. Is more what I have. I don't have like wardrobe malfunctions. I get stabbed by my costumes. I get like poked in the eye by my costumes. Something will fall into, that sort of thing. I get injured by my costume. I have 3 blisters that have finally opened up from Edmonton Con. I don't know. So funny. I have no idea how I got. I was at the con 1.5 days. I have 3 blisters. I don't know how that happened.
Wow.
Costumes are trying to kill me.
So back to the bunny suit.
Okay, back to the bunny suit.
The other thing I'm going to talk about while you show us how to duct tape him up is cosplay is not consent. And even though it's a bunny suit, and even though the things are up and the things are out, it still does not mean that you have the right to touch, handle, fondle, any of that type of thing. I find that there's nothing wrong with asking for a picture. There's nothing wrong with being like, can I put my arm around you, that type of thing. Just don't assume because we're wearing these type of costume that we actually want you to touch us, because that is not how that goes.
No, exactly. There's a lot of things, especially with wearing a bunny suit and wearing a costume that is kind of scantily clad or sexualized. People think that they have the right to kind of touch you, and they don't. And I think when I first started talking about the bunny suits, and I said, I didn't particularly like the concept of them, I think they've turned, because the original concept of them was a submissive person.
Yes.
A submissive waitress who was kind of at a man's beck and call and that sort of thing. All right then, because that was the 60s and that's what it read. But now I think because people are a little bit more sexually open, and whatnot, it's empowering more than anything else, and that's really what it comes down to, is don't make yourself the...
Well, and another thing too is, like, for myself, I wear tights under all of my costumes where my butt could be exposed. Mm-hmm. Not because, I'm all like blah blah blah, but it's more about for my safety, my being comfortable with it, and knowing that if I was to bend over, they're not going to see nothing other than tights.
Yeah. So I think it's appropriate that I'm kind of duct taping Gary here. We're talking about consent and that sort of thing too, because
and she starts on his butt.
I start on his butt. Don't worry, I asked him beforehand. He didn't object. And silence does not denote consent either.
Absolutely.
So just because somebody doesn't answer you back right away does not mean that you have the
all in all, be respectful and don't be a douche.
But it's appropriate that I'm rapping Gary because Carrie Fisher did talk about her. I call it the Hut Slayer Leia. I don't like calling it Slave Leia. I'm very adamant about that because I think it's derogatory to people who were slaves. And Princess Leia was never a slave. She was in that suit unwillingly, and I'd like to point out that she killed that space slug.
Right?
That's what happens when you put us in uncomfortable clothing.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah. You may kiss your brother, but don't put me in something that is going to ride up and give me butt floss. That's all I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be my thing now. Just because I can snap. I can't whistle, but I can snap.
But, yeah, because I've heard stories about, like, Hut Slayer Leias who are working at the con or at a booth, and they get really...
Look at how cute his butt is.
I'm going to turn him around so you can see what I was doing.
Look at his butt.
He looks like he's in season.
He does.
Only boys don't go into season.
He might be. My point is that you can see that this is just with one layer of duct tape, essentially, and by doing smaller pieces, you can get better definition of what you're doing. So essentially, when it comes to making a pattern like this, you would then take, after you've covered his rump in duct tape, and I suggest Sharpie brand markers, even though we're not getting any sort of endorsement from Sharpie whatsoever, but I love Sharpies. You can now take the Sharpies on the duct tape and make cutting points or where your costuming is going to go so that you can make your pattern more accurate.
Okay, so then my next question, because you did that, would you make what are they called? marks across that way, so
You
you
could
know
register marks
There we
so
go.
that you can
I know
match
things.
up your pieces when you have drawn your lines. So that after your pattern. And very important when you are making a fitted pattern, like a corset or a bunny suit, is that you actually draft a left and a right side to the body. Because
I was going to ask that because I had watched a couple tutorials and they only did one side and then they mirrored it.
you can do it on certain things that are going to have a bit of a give for it, but anything that doesn't have a stretch, you shouldn't do that on, because people have one hip higher than the other, people have one shoulder higher than the other, all these sorts of if people have, believe it or not, women have one boob bigger than the other, so it happens. Just does. It's the writing boob usually. The arm that you do writing with tends to be.
What if you're ambidextrous?
Of which I am. I would say that mine are equally, proportionally, splended in their
Are
own.
they?
Are my boobs equally splendid and proportionate, baby?
As far as I've noticed.
There you go.
I like supporting all the way.
That's right. I grew them myself.
But yeah, because that was my thing, is I'd seen a couple and I was like, oh, if I only have to do one side, like, why would I wrap my whole body?
Well, that's why, is because, especially on something that isn't going to have any give, spandex is a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah, I know
stretchy
that.
material. Yeah, that's all very forgiving, but non-stretchy material is not. So, which is kind of why you.
Okay,
do
so now
that.
that you have him taped up,
Yes.
how do you remove that?
Well, this is the tricky bit, is that you want to remove the saran wrap in places where you're naturally going to cut the line. So in this case, I'm going to draw on his button and I'm going to show you what I would have done if this was like an actual human being.
You're making him a chastity belt.
I'm making him a chastity belt because Gary's a frisky boy. Rough. And I'm drawing register marks. I can't believe I'm looking at a dog's ass.
I can.
You've heard too much about me. So I'm going to pretend that I'm drawing, like, if this was like a pair of pants on Gary or something along those lines. So when you go to cut it, I'm going to turn them around so you can see, hopefully.
Turn
around. My producer will tell me if you can see those things on the... Can you see them?
Yeah.
All right. So now you want to cut along those lines that would naturally be a cut line in order to get Gary out of these things. So when I do this to you, unfortunately, I'm probably either going to be cutting around your crotch.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. To get him out. So
Why are
then
you
I
saying
would...
unfortunately?
Yeah, this is true. I like you.
Normally
So-
people have to pay for that shit.
Normally people would have to pay for it. And then, of course, you want to take the pattern off. Like, then you would cut the lines to get him out. So you would follow your pattern cutting lines.
There is another...
Is there another thing in here? Did you get it? There's another fly in here. It's that season where, like, they
where
just...
did I already come
Look at it, I like legit got it.
You did get it.
That's disgusting. Put it in the
So,
garbage can.
I almost... You gross. I almost cut Gary's tail, which I didn't try to do, but you can see what I mean about cutting. And then you would cut it off, and then you've got your pattern
You just
pieces.
flashed his
He's
a-hole.
just he has no butthole.
You need to make one.
I'm not going to make a puckered hole for the Gary.
Did you ever hear our Gary story?
Oh no, I did not
How he
hear you.
peed
Gary.
on the booth?
Oh, how he peed on the booth. That's
Well,
right.
no, he didn't pee on the booth.
Didn't he?
No, he peed in front of the booth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but
I would still be honored.
we thought we were honored.
They
And-
saved
and-
the napkins and everything.
Yeah, no. Gary loved our booth, actually.
Yeah,
He
he's
just
a
kept
great
coming
guy.
in there. I'm thinking it's because kids like shed food.
Maybe.
Probably.
So there was lots of food on the floor, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
So now
Gary
would you
loved
mark
our
like
booth.
left and rights and...
You would do that before you actually cut it apart,
Okay.
and we'll talk about that, doing your left side and your right side. But now you've got your registration marks on your pattern of where the pieces would match up. So when you go to put it back together,
So on your seam allowances, do you need to add seam allowance?
you would need to add seam allowance. And good question, Colin.
Thanks, I thought it was.
Yes, I thought
Yeah,
so.
why you gotta be so smart?
So you would add seam allowances on your pieces, and you want to actually go for a bigger seam allowance than a smaller one. So because always on your first try, it's not going to fit perfectly. right? So you want to sew your inner sides together first. Yeah, you're gonna need friends. It's good
Well,
thing you-
crap.
Oh, you're gonna have to people now.
You're gonna have to
pants
people
on. Like what the?
Yeah,
This
things
is
like
not
that.
what I signed up for.
I know, it's all good. So essentially you want to add like at least a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch seam allowance around your pieces after you've cut them out.
Okay.
And you want to follow that 3/4 of an inch seam allowance when you go to put it together, because you can always make something smaller, but you can't make it bigger.
Yeah.
So it's really in your best interest to do that. So, and you're making the face.
I'm making the face.
I know, it's not fun. But, you know, once you...
But, and you're holding a butt pattern.
I know.
I'm 12.
You're 12, yes. It's all right. It's okay. And the mental age of 8. It's all right. So,
Fly.
you killed a fly. I know. I'm so proud of you. So after you've got your pieces and your pattern, you want to work from the inside out. So you want to do your inner pieces first, because if you have to make any adjustments, it's better to do them on your inner pieces. And then by the time you get to your outer pieces are perfected. You should be ready to
Okay,
go.
well that doesn't seem that hard.
It
This
doesn't.
is so easy, and I'm gonna nail it.
You're gonna nail it! Yay! It's all good. So, and now,
Let's do it.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
The boobs is, and we'll make notes on this, is to do them separately first.
Do them separately. The best way to do the boobs.
Is the best way to do the boobs. So that we should be before the camera. Is so that you get like
So you get like the cups first. The boobage.
yeah. You do the cups. It's tape. Okay, so one of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put in like a gusset.
What's a gusset?
A gusset.
Is that a gusset loop
Yeah.
from Willy
Actually,
Wonka?
this will work really well with your costume design if you want to add it in. Is if you put like a little slit here and then put like a little bit of lacing with like elastic, so that you'll be able to sit down. Because
Who
the-
needs to sit
the
in
original,
costume?
the original bunny suits. Just a second. You got a piece of tape. Listen, I'm gonna hit you.
I don't even know this.
The original bunny suits, of course, had little inside like lacings
Oh.
to like so you could sit down, and they actually had a thing called the bunny dip, where like you couldn't bend from your waist, so you had to bend from like your knees all the time.
Oh God.
Yeah, so like there's documentaries on like what it was like to work with the bunny club and that sort of thing. So.
Oh yeah. I like how you gently pat.
Down and dirty. We're gonna cut this part out because I'm gonna need you to bend forward a little bit.
I feel like this is almost necessary now.
Is it? Okay, so.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Okay, first of all, you're gonna need a front center seam.
Is that's my center? My boobs are there.
Well then,
Feel free to look in all of the places.
I will look at all the places. Boom, boom, boom. Jump chin.
Try and do this from the side a little bit.
Your head's completely covering my crotch.
Oh, good.
But your pen feels interesting.
This is gonna be its own video.
Oh, good lord. Well, we can slow it down and you can actually, like,
Yeah, we can.
take, like, vocal clips of what it was.
Jen. We're gonna slow it down.
Yeah, slow it down. Slow it down.
What are you doing?
What if you cry?
Yeah, you are. That feels weird.
Does it?
It's like the weirdest feeling ever.
It is. Okay, so side scene.
I'm trying to remember why you done it.
I don't know, but it sounds like a good story.
You know why?
That's just an everyday Friday.
That's an everyday Friday. Okay, so you're going to have, how many pieces do you want this to be?
Simple. I will listen to your instructions. You know that.
Yes.
Just boss me around.
Careful, she's gonna make it like 32 pieces.
I'm trying not
I
to.
would kill her.
I would
and
try
love her
not
at
to.
the same time.
I don't understand. Okay, so the green is going to be your registration marks
Okay, and the registration marks are important.
to match up your pattern. Okay.
And then you have to mark lefts and rights, right?
Yes, I'm going to draw on you again. Don't worry.
Make sure you do your hand thing so you remember which one's left.
Oh
and right.
shit. Yeah, I'm bad at that. I keep saying I'm gonna get a tattoo right in my cleavage that only I can see that says left and right. So I can remember, and everybody's like, why don't you get it on your feet? I'm like, I can't see my feet past my boobs. Like,
Just doesn't make sense.
duh.
Fuck it up. Don't fuck it up, Jen.
I know.
Alright, so if I'm going to stand like this is going to be your left. So, left, front. Do you understand? Do I have to write the whole entire thing? What it is?
No, I'm not that well.
Okay.
Maybe I am, but you should be fine.
Left, front,
This is idiot proof. Wait, no, it's actually proof.
left, front, side.
Because I think, what was it? On the pattern that you made me for my undervest,
Yeah.
I think I actually did question what your markings meant. And then I like stopped drinking the wine. And then I read it again in the morning. I was like, oh.
Give me the tape. Alright.
We're gonna start with your back. Dun, 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 dun.
So, you're gonna be getting sweat.
This is gross. Make sure you have a friend that you like.
Yeah, this is why booze is involved.
Thanks for watching.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
And if you like what you saw here, make sure you leave a comment and let us know what you want to see in future episodes. Except for that. It's not happening. Wait, stop that.